Hello everyone, my name is Zach and welcome to On Cash Flow, where I help you become a master of your own cash flow. Now let's get started. We're back at it again here and we're going to be doing the final rental property number 4. As of now, this is the last rental property that I and my business partner have in our portfolio. And so this is going to be, I think, the best yet. Every property that we've acquired and we put into rent has been very unique. And I think this is the most unique of all of them because this is not only our rental property number 4, but it's also currently my primary residence. This is where I'm living right now. So technically, this rental property number 4 is a house hack in that sense. That is the terminology we would use. Here's the picture that we looked at and what we bought the house looking like. And the house looks very similar to that. It's still got the cute little red door. You know, I love the brick, of course. The only major difference you would see from this picture is the roof is brand new and it's a little bit darker. Now let's get into it. So you can see right here before, when we acquired the property, it was a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house at the square footage of approximately 2,220 square feet. After our renovations that we put onto this property, we added another bedroom. So it's 5 bedrooms and we added another bathroom and the square footage increased up to 2,922 square feet. Let's take a look at the numbers here. So this is the most expensive property yet that we purchased. So in March of 2024, we were doing this at the same time that we were getting property number 3 ready to rent. So it's very similar in terms of that time frame there. So the purchase price we have was $305,000. And then our closing costs for this property were $8,553. We'll look at a breakdown of that in just a second. And for that, we also had to put down 15%. So we got an 85% loan to value. $45,750 is 15% on the down payment on that. Here's where we got something pretty crazy and different from all the other properties, because now at this time frame, it was sort of a buyer's market, a little bit more than a seller's market. We got a seller's credit on this property for $20,000 for some repairs that need to be done. And some of the major things that we pointed out that we needed to work on that were going to be very expensive was the roof, the windows, the driveway, and the HVAC system, and a few other things. So some of those major concerns that we had, we were able to negotiate $20,000 off. So to us, it doesn't seem like we purchased the property for $305,000. To us, it seems like we purchased the property for $285,000 because you take that $305 and you subtract out that seller credit. And we put that seller credit to good use. So we made sure that, that $20,000 is going to go towards fixing the property. So if you look at it here though, it cost us $34,303 to acquire this property because we're counting the closing costs, we're counting the down payment, and then we're subtracting out that $20,000 seller credit because that's how it works at closing. Basically, that seller credit technically goes towards the down payment. Now let's break down those closing costs. So the closing cost for this property, 1% loan origination fee, which was $2,593. And then the appraisal cost us $475. And then we had some inspections on this property. The cost of the home inspection has definitely gone up a lot, but we also had to actually get a septic inspection and a septic pumping for this property. So that's why the inspection costs here are particularly high, $1,027. And that's for the general home inspection, the septic inspection and pumping, and also the pest inspection. Then there's some other miscellaneous loan fees that you have to add up and include in there, $162. We prepaid insurance for the property for the entire year at $1,356. And this property actually did require that we have some escrow. So our mortgage payment includes property taxes and insurance. The reserves that we had to put up with $198. And then the title fees for this property were $275. Then title insurance, we did opt to pay because this was a new property that we're purchasing and we didn't have any insurance before. So we paid $976 for that. And another weird one is the bank that we were working with didn't require us to purchase their title insurance. So that's a small win, I guess. And then you have all the taxes that you have to pay when you purchase a property. That ended up being $1,491. Add all that up and that's $8,553. As a percentage of the purchase price of $305,000, the percentage was 2.8%. So nearly 3%, which is probably what you would expect, kind of on average, right? Anywhere from 3 to 4%. All right, going back to the numbers here. So that was our acquisition costs. And then the mortgage that we got was 85%, so $259,250. And remember, this was like in the peak of interest rates. We really do hope to get a lower interest rate so we can refinance in the future. But right now, the interest rate is 7.49%. And that's why we're definitely paying some extra towards that principal so we don't, pay too much in interest over time if we have to have the loan for a long time. But that puts our monthly mortgage, which is including not only the mortgage, but also taxes and insurance, at $2,010 per month. Not only is this the most expensive property that we've purchased so far, but this is also the most expensive rehab cost that we've put so far. So the rehab cost here was $70,000. Now remember, we did get $20,000 off as a seller credit. So, that helped us with not having to put too much towards the down payment. But if we add up the acquisition costs and the rehab cost, that's $104,303. Now, I didn't put any holding costs here because this property is my primary residence, so it's really hard to calculate like holding costs and all that. But we are using this property as a sort of house hack. And included in that rehab, there was a lot of big ticket items. We made this property spectacular. And that's why my estimated value is going to be a lot higher than $305,000. For example, we put in a brand new roof. We put a brand new, French drain system in. We put in a brand new driveway. And this is a very, very large driveway because it extends all the way into the backyard. And then here's the main thing that cost a lot of money that's included in that. We put in RV hookups and we converted the 2-car garage into an entire apartment. And we furnished it as well. So that's all included in that $70,000. I'm really excited to show you that. But let's look at the estimated value today. So here you have the square footage of the property at $2,922. And then for the zip code that it's located in, the median price is $174 per square foot. So we add that up, and then I go ahead and do my adjustment of 25% just to be a little bit more conservative. So I put the new price per square foot at 131, multiply that by the square footage of the property, and I estimate its value to be at least $381,321 now. So hopefully all of that $70,000 that we put into the property went into increasing the value of the property. I think it did. And with our current mortgage is now at $255,711, I estimate that our equity in this property is $125,610. The loan to value here would put us at 67%. I estimate that we could get about $2,700 a month of rent for this property in total. So this is how we are making that happen. The basement itself is completely finished. We rent that out at $500 per month. And then where most of the rent money is made is through what we are pursuing right now. So we are doing a RV Airbnb, and the apartment that we created from a former garage is also rented out on Airbnb. So let's take a look at that real quick. Here's our RV right here. This is in the backyard, and you can see right here, this is part of the driveway. This whole part right here is part of the brand new driveway. So it extends on the side of the house, and then it goes all the way into the back, into like a nice big square. And so we purchased this RV for $20,000, and that's not included in the renovation because it's not attached to the house. It's not a part of the house. So this is a really nice Airbnb, and it's been making us some pretty good money here. And then here is the apartment that's downstairs. So this was a former garage, and looking at these pictures, it's really hard to imagine, but this is like a studio apartment that we build. It's between 500 and 600 square feet. I think it's like 530 to 550 or something like that. And right now we are trying it as a short-term rental, but we might switch to a midterm rental on this one in the future for like traveling professionals, traveling nurses and things like that. Right here on the right, this is the bathroom. It has a full laundry and full bathroom in there. It's very spacious in there. The whole thing just turned out really well. So let's look at the rent right here. So this is the breakdown right here. So I have $500 for the basement. And the reason why that price is lower is because the person that's in the basement actually is a co-host on Airbnb, and they help us manage these as kind of like a part of compensation, a lower rent amount in order to help also manage the properties. And of course, they also get a portion of the rental income from those for managing the properties, but also a lower amount of rent. So $500 there. And then I estimate that the ADU is what we call it, accessory dwelling unit, or the apartment, is going to bring in about $1,200 of gross income on average per month. And I think it's going to, be a little bit less in the off season, which I think would be winter here. And it's going to be a little bit more in the on season, spring and summer. And then I also estimate the RV will bring in about a gross amount of $1,000 per month. And so that's how we come to the number of $2,700 of rent per month. And of course, I'll adjust that estimate as I get more data, as I get more numbers, as we are still testing this out and still renting the RV and the apartment as short-term rentals. But as it stands today, that is our rental property number 4. If you haven't seen those other videos, I've got videos for property rental number 1, 2, and 3, and they just came out before this video. So definitely check those videos out. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm Zach from OnCashflow.com, and I hope to see you next time.